Hey, welcome to a new video. Today we have something really special. We are at the M's Vantec collection, and this is kind of following up on the video that we did over on the main channel, Dino DC. And I kind of wanted to take a little bit extra time and do a walk around of a couple of special cars that really stand out to me. Either I want to kind of highlight some of the rarity, like this 924 GTR for example is something extremely rare. And I actually shot this for Triple O magazine, so I feel like I definitely want to add a video of the car to it all and kind of talk about how special it is. So basically the 924 was released in 1978. It had about 170 horsepower. It was kind of like a cheaper alternative to get into the Porsche brand, a really nice, well-balanced sports car. And I think they ended up making around 15,000 cars in total. But in 1982, this thing came out. They only made 17 cars, and this is one of them. So just as the sun hits the engine beautifully, it's time to talk about this 2-liter turbocharged motor. As you can see, it's pretty much based on the stock motor. Still has that crazy tilt to one side. So dry sumped, and you can see how the intercooler literally just feeds the intake manifold. It's really beautifully designed, taking full advantage of the airflow coming in through the grills here. So the stock engines used to develop 170 horsepower, but this race version kicks out 375 horses, which made it quite successful in the competitions it was entered in, being Le Mans probably the most important one. So the cool thing for me about the 924 is the fact that pretty much the aggressive design, starting off with the FRP over fenders, front and back. As you can see here, there's a crazy amount of light coming in from the windows over there. And of course, the massive scoop on the hood and those openings on the bumper pretty much gave inspiration, or was almost carried over into the model that came after, the 944. So basically, the 944 was inspired from the predecessor's version race car, which to me sounds absolutely crazy cool. So the car sits on some 16-inch turbofan BBS. This is a separate cover that kind of slots in together with the center single lug. Avon slicks front and back, and just a beautiful wheel to kind of look at. I really hope these vanes come back into fashion. I know Manti Racing have done something similar. I know they're pretty popular in the aftermarket, but I mean from manufacturers to kind of explore how to extract heat from the wheel wells. It's just such a cool kind of throwback to old motorsport years. So one of the really cool things is that it's even got a twin feed for the fuel tank. So I guess depending on the racetrack that it was competing in, whether it was like pits on the left or pits on the right, there's always a way to fill up the fuel cell. All right, opening up the door, you instantly realize it's incredibly light. FRP literally weighs absolutely nothing, and this very Spartan cabin, everything is being pretty much brought down to bare metal. There's a very simple pedal arrangement here. I'm not sure if this is how the car was. That throttle looks a little bit interesting to me, but that's what we have here. It looks like the cross pipe here has been removed from the roll cage, obviously to facilitate access. There's actually one on the passenger side. Momo steering wheel, and instrumentation wise, basically it's all you need to know. You got your boost, your tacho, and the oil pressure. A second arrangement of dials here on the side shows temperatures for oil and water as well. Right here we have the brake bias adjuster, and what I think is also the adjustment for the anti-roll bars front and back. Little shifter here actuating the Audi based transmission. I think it was actually a front-wheel drive transmission that was purposed or repurposed to use on the 924. I'm not sure if that street version of the transmission actually made it to this GTR version. Curiously enough, it actually runs, or looks to be running, an aluminium roll cage. Judging by the welds and the oxidation, it's aluminium, or aluminum if you're from the US. So again, the lightness of the door not only comes from the FRP construction of the frame, but also the Lexan glass. And you can see the only way to open is to slide this portion. That's all you have basically. So as the car continues to bask in that beautiful light coming in from the windows here in the collection, it's just a wonderful thing to look at. extremely bare and very basic, the way race cars used to be built in the early 80s. This is a 1982, super, super light, 930 kilos and 375 horsepower to play with. So you can imagine the power and the performance out on track. So it's kind of hard to put a value on something so rare, only 17s ever made, and you know, most of them probably being kind of fixed and in collections for so many years. But at one of the latest Sotheby's auctions, one car, one of the 17s, 924 GTRs, was offered for something around 375 to 450 US. So it's a pretty valuable piece, and again, a wonderful car that, you know, marks a very special time in Porsche's motorsport history, and very, very happy that I got to kind of spend a little bit more time with this thing, because like I mentioned, I shot it early in the year for Triple O magazine, and now I can kind of relax and just walk around it and take in all the details. Again, the rear is where a lot of the weight has been removed. The massive rear glass is also Lexan. You can see the connector for the air jacks, and if you kind of squat down here, you can see one of the rear ones. There are 4. You got a side exit exhaust here coming out of that turbocharger, and if we look inside from the passenger side, you get another angle into the cabin. Extremely bare, nothing much to see, just built to be driven hard. Another cool little thing here is the carbon fiber mirror. It kind of looks like a craft square mirror that you would find on tuning cars or race cars in Japan, but way smaller. Okay, so there you have it. The 924 GTR from 1982, one of 17 race cars ever built by Porsche. And a massive thank you to Moroi-san at M's Vantec for allowing me to kind of roam free and do that video that we already posted over on Dino DC, and to spend a little bit extra time to kind of choose some very special cars that particularly kind of resonate with me, and you know, just dive in the details and enjoy being close to something so special and honestly so important. So hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check back soon for more, because there's another video from M's Vantec that's going to drop soon.